Hello everybody. What you're going to see is a list of mistakes and consequences to making an incorrect tiramisu. Now I'm going to try and be as traditional as I can, with the exception of the addition of cream and I think scotch instead of like some sort of other alcohol. So let's get straight into it. You don't really need an espresso machine. I did call it a mistake because it's just not as good, you know. You can tell the difference. You do taste the coffee better when you have espresso. It blends well with the cream, especially when it's not too sweet. You should be able to taste each element in its own right. The fact that I don't have an espresso machine, I had to make the coffee stronger, so instant coffee usually would do the trick. Just make it really strong and then you can add it back to your nice brewed coffee. And you might be worried, oh, it's raw egg, etc., but you're supposed to do it like that. So make sure you get really good, nice eggs. I went out of my way to buy, I tried to buy pasture-raised organic stuff. It was like $10 for a carton. It's horse shit. But you just got to do what you got to do. In terms of the ratios, I used about 4 eggs, 2 tubs of mascarpone, and 1 little tub of thickened cream. I'm sure some purists would honestly just hate me for putting cream in, but it's pretty good, and it kind of carries things if you screw up any side of the egg-related things. Then eventually you'll mix together the mascarpone and cream together. I don't think you have to, but again, if you're a bit afraid of raw yolks, I suppose. I use the double boiler method. So basically you have like the pot of water underneath that's steaming, and then on top of it you have another bowl that you would whip egg yolks, and I did the sugar so it would melt better. Just make sure you taste the egg yolks whilst you're doing it, so you can adjust for sugar and that sort of thing. Next step here, it could be quite important. It would probably be along the lines of like ruining everything you've done if you just like go and just mix it with just how you would normally with regular batter. You want to fold in this goopy stuff into the whipped cream and the whipped mascarpone. Whip the egg whites. Sugar-wise, I pretty much just went by taste. Look, it's up to your own personal preference, but if it's too sweet, it's not that good. With the egg whites, you can actually tell if it's done when you flip it upside down and it doesn't like drip or fall off onto the bench. You should be good to go, but yeah, okay, that seems good enough. When you're folding in the egg whites, I'm not too sure on which one you should do, whether you should put the stuff into the egg whites or the egg whites into the stuff. Either way, just make sure you do bit by bit and then you fold it in carefully without ruining too much of the bubbliness. I simply went just by dunking the ladyfingers that you can buy into the coffee you made and then layer it at the bottom of your container. Some people like doing 1 layer. Personally, I prefer 2. Makes it a bit more interesting. After you lay down the ladyfingers, nice and compact, fill in all the spots, layer in a layer of the cream. Just do that again for the second layer. If you wanted to go 3 layers, I think that's a bit much. Just do the same thing. And use a lot more than you realize. It was a pretty close call on how much that I could use. For the most part, I didn't let it rest for long enough. Let's say you do the tiramisu correctly. What it should look like, it should be a nice sponge cake. It should have structure to it. It shouldn't just collapse and like melt all the way. Mine basically melted and doesn't look quite nice, but having said that, it does taste quite good. Amongst several reasons why my tiramisu does look like the way it does. For the most part, I didn't let it rest for long enough. No, it's actually good.
It's good? Yummy?
Yeah, it tastes good. I think it just looks abstract. Please like and subscribe. I have a 100 subscriber special coming. It's going to be quite good. So yeah, please stay tuned.